Hello, YouTube. Luigi here. A change in my living situation has precipitated a change in the material that I now have to sculpt. Uh, as you know, I used to carve these blocks of pottery plaster. Pottery plaster is an inexpensive, forgiving, and exceedingly messy material to work with. You can't chip into it without creating a mountain of dust. You can't sand it without creating a mountain of dust. And where I am now, I moved out of this great studio. Where I am now is strictly living space, no studio space, so I can't make that kind of mess here. So it occurred to me, here's some of the mess you see with my work. Big piles of chips and stuff. It occurred to me that there are other materials that don't make dust, such as carving styrofoam. Now this is huge. A lot of people may not be aware of this, but more people carve styrofoam for like stage props and parade float props and Halloween lawn decorations, and it's more of a craft. But some people have to elevate it to a fine art, to sculpture. So here's a material I can carve without making a real mess. Here's another piece. Look at this. Look how nicely that sands down. Here's a piece with a coating on it. I know just what this coating is. More of a modern piece. It's clearly a crucifixion scene, or is going to be assembled. These are the legs with the crossed feet. Here's the gash. I just noticed this in Christ's side. And the arms are going to, when attached, will be outstretched. I just noticed that. Here's another styrofoam head. So you get the picture. It's a legitimate carving material. It's used all the time. And it occurs to me, I could probably use this without making a mess. Is that really true? Well, here is a picture of expanded polystyrene. These tiny little beads that are sort of stuck together because they're expanded by steam. This stuff is a bloody mess. You can't cut it without getting what they call snow everywhere. And it just, these little beads get everywhere. However, there's another material called extruded polystyrene that is much denser. In fact, this is rated for 200 psi in compression strength. It's very strong. This is much denser. This is extruded polystyrene. And this is the material I intend to carve. Now, I didn't just jump into this quite as stupid as I sound. I did a lot of research watching YouTube videos, and apparently you can carve either ones. But apparently this stuff, the extruded, is available in sheets or boards. And the expanded polystyrene, if you wanted a block the size of a city bus, it could be delivered to you. They come in any size you want. So in order to go from this material, which is what I think I want to carve, it's all new to me, I'm learning, I have to take these boards and turn them into laminate them into a block. So in order to laminate them, I need an adhesive. My adhesive of choice, and this may have changed overnight here, is this Loctite product, PL300 foam board adhesive. It is specifically designed for foam board sticking to foam board or foam board sticking to other substrates like wood or concrete or brick or block. But it is made to go onto foam board without eating it away like the other solvent-based sort of adhesives do. My adhesive of choice. And yet I watched this lady. Boy, she really did us all a favor. She was comparing 5 or 6 different foam adhesives. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll give you her. She didn't like my adhesive. She didn't like mine because she set up this test with a 48-hour cure time. And after 48 hours, she tried to yank apart with her hands these 2 little styrofoam blocks that she had glued together. And the one she did with my adhesive came apart very quickly. And one of the reasons was she slathered both sides of her block, so there was no breathing room for the caulk to kind of dry out, and it created a shear plane. So they never really stuck together. They sort of slid on top of each other. Also, had she read the manufacturer's literature, she would have known it was a 168-hour cure period, 1 full week. So a 48-hour test on a 168-hour cure. Anyway, she didn't like it, and that's fine. Okay, here's her choice number 2. You're going to hear this name a lot. Hot Wire Foam Factory. They pretty much own this whole foam carving business nationwide. And they have a product called Foam Fusion. This is excellent. I've seen it in other tests. The foam will break before the joint will. That's when you know you have a good adhesive, when the adhesive is stronger than the material being joined. Foam Fusion, because it comes from hot wire, it is not inexpensive. This lady's first choice, past even Foam Fusion from hot wire, was this. An inexpensive what do you call it, primer. It's a bonding primer called Glidden Gripper. Now there's something in this chemical formulation here that reacts with the polystyrene. I read this somewhere. This is a superior foam adhesive. What this lady said, she only painted it on one side, not both faces, put it together, and she could not tear this thing apart. She just couldn't. So this is inexpensive, and anything from the foam factory is going to be a lot more expensive. Those are adhesives. So I'm talking to my friend Dr. Dave of the Fourth Dimension, and he sees behind me in my Skype camera a board just like this, 2 inches thick, of pink foamular, Pink Panther stuff, you know. And I'm trying to explain to him what I intend to do. He says, how does the board become a block? He says, what am I missing? I don't get it. So I figured, you know, if David didn't understand this, and he's an intelligent man, maybe a lot of other people don't. So I'm going to show you how to turn a board into a block. I took this 96-inch sheet of 24-inch wide, 2-inch thick foam board, and I cut it into 6 16-inch pieces. Because 6 times 16 is 96. Now, I've also played around with, studied the proportions of cutting it into 5 pieces, which would have been 19.2 inches. Different shape block, different proportions. I decided this, because I get another piece out of it, another 2 pieces out of it, would give me a thicker block, and I would prefer these proportions. So here's the boards that are cut, the pieces that are cut out of that long board. I'm putting on my adhesive, and you see it's a thin bead, and it's running horizontally on the top sheet and vertically on the bottom sheet. You don't have to have 100% coverage. I say that I haven't done this before. This is what my mind tells me to do. But I'll tell you what I noticed. When you take these cross-directional, bidirectional beads of adhesive and put them down in this fashion, you better be darn close to where you want to be the first time, because they lock into each other. And the movement is almost negligible. If I only had adhesive on one side, that thing would slide all over the place. I was surprised me how well they lock in. So I smush the sheets together, just slightly spread it around, trying to fill in some of the voids between the beads, but it doesn't have to be solid. And once I true up the corners and get it flush, I put weights on it. Here I have 2 6-inch concrete block, 2 brick, and this really heavy stone, turned stone bowl. And I would leave it here for hours before I did the next one. I got more and more, the hours got less and less as the project went on. Here it is with 3 laminations high. Here it is with 5. I don't know what happened to 4. Getting taller and taller. This might be the top one, guys. And there it is without the weights. This is now what a block looks like, doesn't it? It looks like a block. Of course, it will probably be carved in this orientation. You know, standing in this direction, probably exactly as you see it. That's how I intend to do it. Now, because this is styrofoam, and it's even worse with the expanded polystyrene, these soft pieces need protecting. And there are products out there to do this that not only harden and strengthen the styrofoam, but make it like dent proof. And some of these coatings, you can add grits and things to them. They look like granite when you're done. You can't tell the difference. This is, again, a hot wire foam factory product. It's called Foam Coat. That means it's expensive. And they want you to put this on in thicknesses up to 3/8 of an inch. Well, sure, that would give you a very durable shell on something as flimsy as expanded polystyrene. I get it, but 3/8 of an inch, if you are doing detail work like this, these little fingers, what the hell's a 3/8 inch coating going to do to work like that? I never liked that about it. I never liked that about it. So I was on the fence, and I'm watching. I keep in my research. I'm watching all kinds of videos, and this guy pulls out a can of this stuff. This product is 80 years old. There's nothing new about it except far and wide foam sculptors agree that this is a superior coating product, and you can mix it up to your own desire. It's a powder in here. You can mix it up to your own desired viscosity. You want it thin, so you retain your details. You want it thick. It also works as a filler. It's harder than hell. You will not be able to peel it off without destroying the styrofoam. It sticks, stays put, will not shrink. And this is like dirt cheap compared to any foam factory product, I'm sure. This is available at Lowe's, Home Depot, any paint and hardware store. I mean, it's been around for 80 years. And the truth is, I hope this is not an overstatement, but it's the ingredients on a cursory examination, the ingredients between this and the foam coat are, what do I want to say? They sound almost identical. Okay, so that's the coating. And there you go. You know, this is new to me. I tried it my way. I may find my adhesive stinks, my gluing pattern stinks. I may discover a lot of things, but that's what experimentation and learning is about. They don't teach us this, but failure is the best teacher all the time. So I'll let you know how this turns out. You know, I will very likely switch adhesives to that Glidden Gripper bonding primer. She couldn't tear that stuff apart. All right, everybody, take good care. God bless you. I love you all. Bye-bye.